Going to a green New Deal or a green future is going to require a lot of lithium batteries. So let's move on to the next slide, which is very nondescript. But and I don't know how to embed videos yet in the slide deck, and well, I'll learn that on my own time. But so I have things done a little strangely here. That top one, that top link here, we actually want to go to that. And let's see if I, oh. So that introduced with Thacker Pass, which is very close to the Oregon-Nevada border, and Thacker Pass is only one spot in Nevada that is going to be exploited for lithium mining.
Hi everybody, this is Tony. Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays But Botany Doesn't. Now today, I was coming to you from the Silver Peak Range, about 20 miles from the California border in west central Nevada. And I'm here because there's an extremely rare plant that grows here that's threatened with extinction due to a proposed lithium boron mine. Okay, they want to build an open pit mine. Actually, they want to build it over there, but they're going to be mining this stuff too. Now, what you're looking at right here was the initial population that was discovered of this rare plant. It was the first population that was discovered of this rare plant in 1985 by Arnold Jerry Team, the notorious cage fighter and a winner of the 1992 MMA championship. He was later ejected from the mixed martial arts due to the fact that he ripped someone's ear off while engaged in a grappling match. He just straight up, you not on it, but great guy nonetheless. Very handsome, and he helped discover this buckwheat. He's also, collected, I think, upwards of like 20 to 40,000, probably more than that, voucher specimens of plants. So he's done a lot of plant exploration in Nevada, and he was out here in the 80s, apparently, in between, different bouts of his MMA career, and he was looking, just doing what I do, just taking a waltz and looking at plants and collecting stuff, taking pictures, and he found this buckwheat. And it turns out it ended up being a new species that had not yet been described. And here it is, Eriogonum pimei. Okay, you could see it right there. Okay, perennial buckwheat with the thick woody root, thick woody caudex.
And there's much more for the biology nerd, which I'm one of those too. But he's covered the point, and there are a whole bunch of areas in Nevada that could be used for lithium mining. And, you're going to find these, it turns out they're all small ecosystems because not very many things can grow on this kind of soil. And Tony, who I actually follow, is very into what plants grow on what kind of soil. And so these lithium mines are really they're going to wipe out some species. And, how important is that is, another debate into itself. But I happen to think it's, wiping out a species for a few lithium batteries doesn't make a lot of sense to me. At, you know, One thing is it's not even known how these plants have been able to adapt to these, environments. So there could be some biochemical pathways that could be very useful to understand in terms of, future diseases. And, I'm totally speculating here, but, unique species do have their value. So I'm on the side of that. There should be much more public debate. Here I am. We're using lithium batteries right now. We're using electronics, and I'm not going to sit here, and be a total hypocrite about this. But where do I stand on, say, on what we've just seen, the Thacker Pass and everything? It's not been public reviewed to the satisfaction it should be. We just had 4 years of Trump. God knows what kind of environmental stuff should have been looked at that wasn't looked at, how many things have been rubber stamped. And like for Thacker Pass, I went to the state of Nevada. I watched a very short video. I looked at their website, and they were saying that, oh, everything's fine. It's met all this environmental, a stringent evaluation process. And I happen to know that's baloney, because the laws have not changed much since the 1800s. And basically, you can go out into federal land with a pole. I'm going to get the details all wrong, but you pound a stake in the ground, you pay $50 somewhere, and you have a claim. And then after that, maybe you've got to do a whole bunch of stuff before you can actually start mining. I really don't know. But the point is that whatever it is, it's not adequate for our times. And the laws were originally written to settle the West, to encourage exploitation. And, that's America, the way America was built, on exploitation, and not going to work anymore. And so all these things, where the lithium's coming from, how much we're using it, what environmental processes are being used, what do you do with the waste? None of these questions are answered in terms of Thacker Pass. You can't go to a website and read about all this stuff, because it doesn't exist. And so I will disagree with the state of Nevada website that things were done correctly. And this slide comes up from an article just saying that this is close to me. It's in Western Washington, which happens to be over the mountains, and they're having a drought. And I put it in the deck because for several years, the global warming has been claiming that what's going to happen to the West is it's going to dry out. And so currently we have a drought in Western Washington, and it's the worst one since 1920. So this is a severe thing. And by the way, I live in the yellow area up here, and up in the upper left corner. And so things are a little, where I am, things have been a little dry, but not terribly unusual. But down in the South State, about 150 miles or 200 miles north of Thacker Pass, you see this red area, and that's having severe drought. And what's happening there is that previous slide, we don't have to go back to, it showing a wheat plant, and it's short. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And the farmers are not going to be having much of any yield out of these fields. And the next slide shows a guy, a rancher, and he's had to, in the back there, you can see some of his cows behind his dog, and he's had to sell off his herds because he doesn't have the grass to feed them. So, farmers or ranchers, over the years, they build up herds. And so, it's an investment. So from his point of view, he's sick because he's had to sell off a whole bunch of very valuable animals that it took him years to build up, because the rain's going away. He can't, they're no good dead. So he got to sell them, but he didn't really want to.